It is my honor to be speaking here before you today, sharing with you my journey at All Saints. When I first came to All Saints 3 years ago, I had few expectations. I had never heard of the place. I figured it was simply another church I would go to for a couple of months before I phased out on it. Boy, was I wrong. Instantly, I had connected with the kids, community, and leaders. All Saints was not my first church. I had attended Church of the Valley for as long as I can remember. I thought it was normal to wake up at 6 in the morning and drive for an hour to church every Sunday. Around the time of middle school, though, my pastor retired, my parents divorced, and church took a back seat in my life. When I was a freshman in high school, I started going to a youth group on Wednesday nights at a large church in Pasadena. My mom had already stumbled upon All Saints, and it was only 5 minutes away from home. After about a year, she bribed me to try the youth group here one Wednesday. I didn't want to come, but when we got home that night, I told her, "I hate it when you're right." I didn't want to like your church. Ever since, I've been coming every Wednesday. My first year here gave me a place to be myself, share my feelings, and in a sense, get away from home. Not to mention how nice it was to be able to sleep until 11 and still be able to go to church. The divorce wasn't easy, and it happened very quickly. I've never been a fan of psychologists, so I dealt with it on my own, which wasn't too hard, but it was at times stressful. My dad was still always there to pick us up after school, though, and numerous occasions I would sleep over at his house after watching a movie or going to a baseball game. All of these things made what happened next so much harder. 1 week after my 16th birthday, my dad had called to say that he was sick and couldn't pick me up. He sounded tired, so I told him to get some rest, feel better, and I could find a ride home. If I had known that that would be my last conversation with my father as I once knew him, I certainly would have thought to say something more important like how much he meant to me and how I've appreciated every moment he has spent on making me a better person. On Wednesday, the same thing happened, except this time no call. He wasn't picking up at home or on his cell, so my mom got us and we went home. I don't know exactly what happened, but we rushed to the ER and learned that my dad had been found unconscious on his kitchen floor. The doctors wouldn't tell us anything more, and all I saw was him asleep on his bed. I had no idea what on earth was going on, and all I could think of right then and there was how much I wanted to be at All Saints for Youth Wednesdays. We went straight from the hospital to the church, and it was so great to have All Saints here for comfort when there was no other forms of it around. My dad slipped into a coma for the first 2 months, and we didn't think he was going to come out of it. Shannon Ferguson came to the hospital and performed the sacrament of unction. Amazingly enough, as we were around praying him, he woke up right then and there. He is now living in a facilitated care center, which isn't ideal, but it's still nice to have him here, even if he isn't the same person he once was. Through the worst times and the ups and downs, I had All Saints to help. They say Wednesday nights are for youth group, but that meant little to me. There were numerous occasions where I would show up unannounced looking for Dave Erickson, and he would always have time for me, something I will never be able to thank him enough for. All Saints has not simply been a place of consolation for me. It's been a place of many opportunities as well. Most importantly, my transformational journey trip to Nogales with Borderlinks. I was one of 2 high school students, the other being Rosa Brummel, to go on this trip, which certainly was not one designed for kids. It was a real look into immigration and the reform that is needed. There was no sugarcoating or beating around the bush. I was thrown into a situation where nothing is hidden. We walked the same path that a group of immigrants might use to cross the border, and one person got a cactus stuck in his foot. Mind you, this was the daytime. I couldn't even begin to imagine navigating a route like this in the freezing cold at night with no real light to guide you. We spoke with people who have made such a trip sometimes 9 times in failure, and were now beginning to give up hope for a better life for themselves and for their families. It is not typical for a teenager to know so much about a big issue like immigration, but thanks to the opportunity All Saints gave me, I have a first-hand knowledge and can help to cause change in the world. This is just the type of program that makes our youth program so very special. Just this past year, my sister went with a group to New Orleans to help rebuild, and another group went on the same trip that I did with 3 kids this time. The opportunities for our youth are only growing, and I've been lucky enough to have been given so many opportunities and taken advantage of so much. Speaking here today, I am humbled by what All Saints has offered me so freely, only to help me become a better version of myself. In the lyrics of Matisyahu's Youth, he says, some of them are looking for fun, some of them are looking for a way out of confusion, some of them don't know where to go. Some of their teachers squashed the flame before it's had a chance to grow. All Saints gives our youth a place to find whatever they are looking for, and so much more. No flames are squashed here by the teachers. They're given a chance to grow and glow. We depend on people like you who volunteer to help more flames to be ignited. All Saints has truly been the greatest example of God and one of his miracles in action. When a home was broken, I was given a new one here with the most welcoming inhabitants I have ever known. When my father fell ill and I had no adult male figure to turn to, I was given Dave, who was always there for me before and after youth group, any other day of the week, for hot coffee and a warm hug. Too often have I heard that God is not around anymore, that no one knows if God is there. But I can say with conviction that God is alive and well here for me and anyone else who enters these grounds. I don't need to see the Virgin Mary in a rock cliff or a misshapen chicken McNugget. I know for a fact that All Saints is the greatest miracle God has ever given me. Thank you.